The spark of rebellion. The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as the human delegation entered. Ambassador Sarah Chen walked with purpose, her eyes fixed on the towering alien figures seated around the circular hall. Behind her, a small group of Earth's finest diplomats and military personnel followed, their faces grim. As they reached the center of the chamber, Sarah's gaze locked onto Exurcath, the Xyrelian representative. The bug-like alien's compound eyes glittered with malice as it clicked its mandibles together in what passed for a smile among its species. Humans. Exurcath's voice rasped through the translator. You stand accused of violating galactic law. How do you plead? Sarah's jaw clenched. She knew this was a farce, a show trial meant to humiliate humanity and keep them in their place. But she had to play along for now. We plead not guilty, she said, her voice steady. The expansion of our colony on Proxima b was well within the limits set by the Galactic Charter. We demand to see the evidence against us. A ripple of murmurs passed through the assembled aliens. Exurcath's eyes narrowed, and it gestured with one spindly limb. A holographic display flickered to life, showing grainy footage of human ships in orbit around a blue-green world. As you can see, Exurcath said, your vessels clearly crossed the designated boundary. This is a grave offense. Sarah opened her mouth to object, but before she could speak, a commotion erupted at the back of the chamber. She turned to see a small figure push through the crowd. A human child, no more than 10 years old. That's not true, the boy shouted, his voice high and clear. I was there. I saw what really happened. Sarah's heart leaped into her throat. It was Tommy Chen, her son. He must have stowed away on their ship, determined to see the fabled galactic capital. Now he was here, in the heart of danger, about to expose the Council's lies. Silence. Exurcath screeched, rising from its seat. Remove this intruder at once. But Tommy was already running forward, a data chip clutched in his small hand. I have proof, he yelled. The Xyrelians attacked us first. They. A bolt of searing energy lashed out from Exurcath's position, striking Tommy square in the chest. The boy's words cut off in a choked gasp as he crumpled to the floor, the data chip skittering across the polished surface. For a moment, the chamber was frozen in shock. Then Sarah's anguished scream shattered the silence. She rushed to her son's side, cradling his lifeless body as tears streamed down her face. The human delegation erupted in fury, weapons appearing in hands as they formed a protective circle around their fallen comrade. The alien representatives recoiled, some fleeing the chamber in panic. Admiral James Carter, leader of Earth's military contingent, strode forward. His weathered face was a mask of cold rage as he addressed the council. You have committed an act of war, he growled, his voice carrying to every corner of the vast room. A child. An innocent, murdered in cold blood for daring to speak the truth. Exurcath, still holding the smoking energy weapon, clicked its mandibles in what might have been nervousness. The human was disrupting official proceedings, it said. The use of force was justified under council law. Carter's laugh was devoid of humor. Council law. You've shown us exactly what your laws are worth. He tapped a communicator on his wrist. This is Admiral Carter to all Earth forces. Initiate Protocol Omega. I repeat, initiate Protocol Omega. Alarms began to blare throughout the station. On view screens around the chamber, images appeared of massive ships emerging from hyperspace, ships of a design no living being had seen in millennia. What is this? Exurcath stammered, its composure cracking. Carter's smile was cold and deadly. This, you overgrown insect, is humanity's response to your tyranny. Did you think we came here unprepared? Did you think we would meekly submit to your so-called justice? He gestured to the screens, where the ancient warships were engaging the Council's defensive fleet. Energy beams lanced out, cutting through the newest galactic ships like paper. For centuries, we've hidden our true strength, Carter continued, played the part of the young, naive species. All the while, We were preparing, building, waiting for the day when you would show your true colors. Sarah stood, gently laying Tommy's body down. Her grief had hardened into something terrible and unyielding. She joined Carter, her voice raw with emotion. "You killed our child," she said, meeting the gaze of each alien representative in turn. "Now, Earth's ancient fleet will make the galaxy bleed." As if in response to her words, a massive explosion bloomed on the view screens. The Council's flagship, pride of their navy, disappeared in a ball of fire. The chamber erupted into chaos. Alien diplomats scrambled for exits, shouting orders and pleas for mercy in a cacophony of languages. But the humans stood firm, an island of terrible calm in the storm. Carter turned to his people, his eyes blazing with purpose. "This is the moment we've prepared for," he said. "The chains are off. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of." As one, the human delegation moved towards the exit, leaving behind the broken body of a child and the shattered illusion of galactic peace. Outside, the ancient ships of Earth continued their assault, heralding a new era of war and retribution. The spark of rebellion had been lit, and it would burn the galaxy to ashes. The awakening of giants. As Earth's ancient fleet tore through the Galactic Council's defenses, Admiral James Carter stood on the bridge of the EAS Titan, the flagship of humanity's hidden armada. The massive vessel thrummed with power, systems dormant for centuries now roaring to life. "Status report," Carter barked, his eyes fixed on the tactical display. Commander Elena Rodriguez, his second-in-command, responded crisply. "Sir, our first wave has decimated the Council's orbital defenses. We're detecting mass panic on the surface of Xyrelia Prime. Their leadership is attempting to evacuate." Carter's lips curled into a grim smile. "Not on my watch. Target their escape vessels. I want Xurkath and his cronies to face justice for what they've done." As the battle raged around them, Carter's mind drifted to the events that had led to this moment. For generations, humanity had played the long game. While presenting a facade of technological inferiority to the galaxy, they had secretly preserved and advanced the most powerful weapons from Earth's ancient past. The Titan and its sister ships were the culmination of that effort, a fusion of technology so advanced it bordered on the mythical. Powered by zero-point energy cores, shielded by quantum fields, and armed with weapons that could reshape reality itself, they were the ultimate expression of human ingenuity and determination. On the planet below, Xurkath scuttled through the opulent halls of the Council headquarters, its guards struggling to keep up. Alarms blared, and the building shook with each impact from orbit. "Impossible," the Xyrelian leader chittered. "How could the humans possess such power? We monitored them for centuries." An aide rushed up, mandibles clicking in agitation. "Counselor, our last transport has been destroyed. We're trapped." Xurkath's compound eyes widened in fear. For the first time in its long life, it felt the cold grip of helplessness. The humans, those primitives they had dismissed and exploited, now held the power of gods. Back on the Titan, Carter received a priority communication. Sarah Chen's face appeared on the view screen, her eyes red-rimmed but filled with steel. "Admiral," she said, her voice steady, "I'm broadcasting from the Council chambers. We've secured the data core. It's worse than we imagined. The Xyrelians, they'd been manipulating species across the galaxy for millennia, instigating wars, stunting technological growth, all to maintain their dominance." Carter nodded gravely. "Send the data to our allies. It's time the galaxy learned the truth." As Sarah worked to disseminate the damning evidence, the human fleet continued its inexorable advance. Ships bearing the insignia of other species began to appear, those who had long chafed under Xyrelian rule, now seizing their chance for freedom. On a dozen worlds, ancient human outposts stirred to life. Hidden bunkers opened, revealing stockpiles of advanced weaponry. Sleeper agents, some not even aware of their true nature, received the activation signal they had been waiting for their entire lives. In the Andromeda Galaxy, a message beamed across the vast intergalactic void. Operation Long Watch successful. Milky Way assets activated. Awaiting further instructions. The galaxy was awakening to a new reality. Humanity, long dismissed as upstart primitives, now stood revealed as the secret guardians of civilizations. For centuries, they had watched, waited, and prepared, building a network that spanned not just their home galaxy, but reached into the cosmic beyond. On the Titan's bridge, Carter felt the weight of history on his shoulders. The next few hours would determine the fate of countless species of entire galaxies. He thought of Tommy Chen, the brave boy whose death had been the spark to light this fire. "We can't bring him back," Carter murmured, "but we can make damn sure his sacrifice means something." He turned to his crew, his voice ringing with authority. "All ships, commence Phase 2. Targets Aurelian military installations across the sector. Avoid civilian casualties where possible, but do not let them regroup. It's time to cut the head off this snake once and for all." As the orders went out, Carter's gaze drifted to the stars visible through the Titan's view screen. Somewhere out there, humanity's true enemies were watching. The Zarelians were just puppets, he knew, tools of a darker, older force that had sought to keep the galaxies divided and weak. But that time was over. Humanity had risen, and with them, the hope for a new era of galactic cooperation and advancement. The price had been high, paid in the blood of innocents like Tommy Chen. But from that tragedy, a new future would be forged. The ancient fleet of Earth surged forward, unstoppable and implacable. The galaxy trembled, and the stars themselves seemed to hold their breath. The age of secrets was ending. The age of humanity had begun. The fallen empire's last stand. As the human fleet advanced across Irelian space, the true scale of Earth's hidden power became apparent. Planets once thought to be uninhabited revealed vast underground cities, home to human populations that had lived in secret for generations. Asteroid fields transformed into massive shipyards, churning out vessels that melded technology with an almost organic grace. On Xyrelia Prime, chaos reigned. The planet's defense grid, once thought impenetrable, lay in ruins. Exarcath and the remnants of the Galactic Council huddled in a fortified bunker deep beneath the capital city, watching in disbelief as their empire crumbled around them. "How?" Exarcath hissed, its mandibles clicking furiously. "How could we have been so blind?" A holographic display flickered to life, showing the face of Grand Admiral Zyklor, leader of the Xyrelian military. His exoskeleton was cracked and scorched, evidence of a narrow escape from a human assault. "Counselor," Zyklor's voice crackled with static, "we've lost contact with our colonies in the Orion Arm. The humans, they're not just conquering, they're liberating. Species we've subjugated for millennia are rising up, joining their fleet." Exarcath's compound eyes narrowed. "Then we must use the Omega Protocol. Activate the planet killers. If we can't rule the galaxy, we'll reduce it to ash." On the bridge of the Titan, Admiral Carter watched the unfolding battle with grim satisfaction. Beside him, Sarah Chen coordinated the diplomatic efforts, reaching out to newly liberated worlds and forging alliances that would reshape the galactic order. "Sir," Commander Rodriguez called out, her voice tight with urgency, "we're detecting massive energy buildups on several Xyrelian worlds, consistent with doomsday weapons." Carter's jaw clenched. "So the bastards want to take everyone down with them." "Not on my watch. All ships, converge on those energy signatures. Whatever they're planning, we shut it down." Now, as the human fleet split up to tackle this new threat, a transmission cut through the comm channels. The face that appeared on the view screen was familiar to every human in the fleet. Dr. Ilara Vance, the brilliant scientist whose work had been key to unlocking the secrets of Earth's ancient technology. "Admiral," Ilara said, her eyes bright with excitement despite the chaos around her. "We've done it. The quantum entanglement device is online. We can shut down their weapons remotely." Carter nodded, a spark of hope igniting in his chest. "Do it, Doctor. Save as many lives as you can." Across Irelian space, massive weapons platforms began to power up, their destructive potential beyond imagining. But as they reached critical mass, something extraordinary happened. Fields of shimmering energy enveloped them, containing their fury and rendering them harmless. In the Zarelian bunker, Exarcath watched in horror as report after report came in of failed planet killers. "Impossible," it whispered, its once imperious voice now trembling with fear. Grand Admiral Zickler's hologram flickered back to life. "Counselor, we have no choice. We must surrender. The humans have outmaneuvered us at every turn. If we continue, our entire species will be wiped out." Exarcath's mandibles clacked in fury. "Never. I would rather die than submit to those primitives." But even as the Zyrelian leader spoke, the bunker's doors began to glow red-hot. With a thunderous explosion, they burst inward, revealing a team of human soldiers led by none other than Sarah Chen herself. "Exarcath." Sarah's voice was cold as steel, her eyes burning with righteous anger. "In the name of Earth, and in memory of my son Tommy, you are under arrest for crimes against sentient life." As the Zyrelian leader was led away in restraints, Sarah couldn't help but feel a pang of emptiness. Vengeance had been swift and total, but it couldn't bring back what she had lost. Back on the Titan, Admiral Carter received the news of Exarcath's capture with grim satisfaction. But there was no time to celebrate. Reports were flooding in from across the galaxy, ancient threats stirring, drawn out by the sudden shift in power. "Sir," Commander Rodriguez said, her voice hushed with awe, "we're receiving a transmission from the Andromeda Galaxy." Carter straightened, his eyes fixed on the view screen as it flickered to life. The face that appeared was human, yet somehow more. Eyes that held the wisdom of eons gazed out at them, set in a face that seemed to shimmer with barely contained energy. "Greetings, children of Earth," the being said, its voice resonating with power. "I am Althea, Watcher of Andromeda. The time has come for you to know the truth of your heritage and the great burden that has been placed upon your species." As Althea began to speak, Carter felt the universe shift around him. The war against the Zarelians, it seemed, had been but the first step on a journey beyond imagination. The ancient fleet of Earth hung in space, a testament to human ingenuity and determination. But as Althea's words washed over them, Carter realized that their greatest challenges, and their true destiny, still lay ahead. The galaxy held its breath, poised on the brink of a new era. And humanity, for better or worse, would lead the way. Echoes of a forgotten legacy. As Althea's holographic visage gazed upon the bridge of the Titan, an eerie silence fell over the crew. Admiral Carter felt a chill run down his spine, sensing that the revelation to come would forever change humanity's understanding of its place in the cosmos. "Children of Earth," Althea began, her voice resonating with ancient power, "your victory over the Zarelians is but the first step in reclaiming your true heritage. Eons ago, your ancestors were not merely inhabitants of Earth, but guardians of multiple galaxies." The bridge crew exchanged stunned glances as Althea continued. "The civilization you know as ancient humanity was in fact the last remnant of a vast intergalactic empire known as the Primarchs. They seeded life across countless worlds, shepherded young species, and maintained balance in the cosmic order." Images flickered across the view screen. Impossible structures spanning entire solar systems, ships that dwarfed stars, and beings of pure energy walking among mortal races. Carter felt a wave of vertigo as he struggled to comprehend the scale of what he was seeing. But the Primarchs faced a threat beyond imagining. Althea's voice grew grave. The void entropy, a force of uncreation that sought to unravel the very fabric of existence. In a last, desperate gambit, they scattered their essence across time and space, encoding their knowledge and power into the very DNA of primitive species on countless worlds. Sarah Chen, who had just returned from Zyrelia Prime, stepped forward. Are you saying we're all descendants of these Primarchs? Althea nodded. Indeed. Humanity was to be the keystone, the species that would one day reawaken the full potential of the Primarchs and stand against the return of the void entropy. The Xerelians and other oppressive races were unknowing pawns, manipulated by fragments of the void to keep humanity contained. Admiral Carter's mind raced. The ancient fleet, our hidden technologies, they were left behind by the Primarchs. Yes, Althea confirmed. Seeds planted millennia ago, waiting for the right moment to bloom. But what you have unlocked is merely a fraction of your true potential. As if on cue, alarms blared across the Titan. Commander Rodriguez's hands flew over her console. Sir, we're detecting massive spatial distortions throughout the galaxy. It's as if reality itself is starting to unravel. Althea's expression turned grim. The void entropy stirs. Your battle against the Xyrelians has weakened the barriers holding it at bay. You must complete your awakening, or all will be lost. How? Carter demanded. How do we unlock this potential? The key lies in unity, Althea explained. Not just among humans, but with all sentient races. The Primarch's power was rooted in the collective consciousness of all life. You must forge alliances, heal the rifts caused by millennia of conflict, and rekindle the cosmic harmony that once bound all beings. Sarah stepped forward, her eyes blazing with determination. We'll do whatever it takes. For Tommy, for Earth, for all life in the galaxy. Althea nodded solemnly. Be warned, the path ahead is fraught with peril. The void entropy will throw everything it has against you. Ancient horrors will awaken, and you'll face challenges that will test the very limits of your newfound power. Admiral Carter squared his shoulders, feeling the weight of this cosmic responsibility settle upon him. We've come too far to falter now. Humanity will rise to this challenge, as we always have. As if in response to his words, a ripple of energy passed through the ship. Crew members gasped as they felt something awaken within them, a connection to each other and to the universe itself that defied description. Althea smiled, a glimmer of hope shining in her ageless eyes. The awakening begins. Go forth, children of Earth. Reclaim your legacy, unite the galaxies, and stand firm against the coming darkness. The fate of all existence rests in your hands. With a final nod, Althea's hologram flickered and vanished, leaving the bridge of the Titan in stunned silence. For a moment, no one moved, each person grappling with the enormity of what they had just learned. Then, slowly, Admiral Carter turned to face his crew. His voice, when he spoke, carried the resolve of a species that had overcome every obstacle thrown in its path. You heard the lady. We've got a universe to save. As the ancient fleet of Earth prepared to embark on its greatest journey yet, the stars themselves seemed to pulse with renewed energy. Humanity stood on the brink of a new era, no longer merely explorers or conquerors, but guardians of life itself. The war against the Xyrelians had been but a prelude. Now, the true battle for existence was about to begin. The cosmic crucible. In the days following Althea's revelation, the galaxy was a whirlwind of activity. The ancient fleet of Earth, now understood to be a legacy of the Primarchs, became the nucleus of a growing alliance. Species that had been oppressed by the Xyrelians for millennia flocked to the banner of humanity, drawn by the promise of freedom and the whispers of a greater destiny. Admiral Carter found himself at the center of a diplomatic storm. The Titan had become a mobile headquarters, hosting delegations from dozens of worlds. In the ship's vast conference room, Carter stood before a holographic display of the galaxy, addressing representatives from a dizzying array of species. The threat we face is beyond anything our civilizations have encountered, Carter said, his voice steady despite the weight of responsibility. The void entropy is not an enemy we can simply outgun or outmaneuver. It's the antithesis of existence itself. A Vulcan delegate, its crystalline body shimmering with inner light, spoke up. How can we hope to fight such a force? We are but motes of dust compared to the vastness of the cosmos. Sarah Chen, standing at Carter's side, stepped forward. Individually, yes, but united we are so much more. The power of the Primarchs lies dormant within all of us. Together, we can reawaken that potential. As if to underscore her words, a ripple of energy passed through the room. The assembled delegates gasped as they felt a momentary connection, a glimpse of the cosmic awareness that was their birthright. But even as alliances were forged and ancient powers stirred, the void entropy was making its presence felt. Across the galaxy, spatial anomalies tore open the fabric of reality. Entire star systems vanished into swirling vortexes of uncreation, and from these wounds in spacetime, horrors beyond imagination emerge. On the fringes of known space, the colony world of New Eden found itself on the front lines of this cosmic conflict. Dr. Elara Vance, dispatched with a task force to study the anomalies, sent back terrifying reports. The laws of physics are breaking down. Her hologram flickered as she addressed the War Council on the Titan. We're seeing life forms that shouldn't be possible, creatures of pure entropy, devouring matter and energy alike. The view screen showed monstrosities that defied description, writhing masses of tentacles and void, beings of crystallized time, and swarms of particles that flickered in and out of existence. Against such foes, even the advanced weapons of the Primarch fleet seemed paltry. But humanity and its allies were not without hope. As the crisis deepened, more and more individuals began to manifest extraordinary abilities. Telepathy, matter manipulation, even limited control over time and space. The legacy of the Primarchs was reasserting itself. On New Eden, a young colonist named Maya Santos found herself at the center of a miracle. As a horde of entropy beasts bore down on the colony's last defenders, Maya's latent powers exploded into life. With a thought, she erected a shimmering barrier of pure energy, holding back the tide of destruction. Similar stories poured in from across the galaxy. On 1,000 worlds, ordinary people were becoming living weapons against the encroaching void. But for every victory, there was a setback. The void entropy was adaptive, learning from each encounter. It probed for weaknesses, exploiting the fears and doubts of those who stood against it. Admiral Carter, coordinating the galactic defense from the Titan, felt the strain of command like never before. Every decision he made could mean the difference between salvation and oblivion for entire civilizations. In a rare moment of quiet, he stood alone in his quarters, staring out at the star-strewn vastness of space. Sarah found him there, her face etched with concern. "James," she said softly, using his first name, a rarity in these days of formal titles and military protocol. "When was the last time you slept?" Carter turned, a weary smile touching his lips. "Sleep? I'm not sure I remember what that is." Sarah stepped closer, placing a hand on his arm. "We can't win this if you burn yourself out. The burden doesn't have to be yours alone." For a moment, the weight of command seemed to lift from Carter's shoulders. He looked at Sarah, seeing not just a fellow soldier, but a friend who had been through hell by his side. "I see Tommy in every report," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "Every world we lose, every life snuffed out. It's like losing him all over again." Sarah's eyes shimmered with unshed tears, but her voice was strong. "Then we make sure his sacrifice wasn't in vain. We finish this, James. We save the galaxy, the universe, everything." Their moment of shared grief and determination was interrupted by an urgent comm alert. Commander Rodriguez's voice crackled through the speaker. "Admiral, we're detecting a massive buildup of void energy in the Horsehead Nebula. It's like nothing we've ever seen before." Carter straightened, his moment of vulnerability passing. He shared a look with Sarah, both of them knowing that the next few hours could decide the fate of all existence. "Understood," he replied, his voice once again the confident tone of a leader. "Alert the fleet. We're about to face our greatest challenge yet." As alarms blared throughout the Titan, Carter strode toward the bridge, Sarah at his side. The ancient fleet of Earth, along with ships from 100 allied species, prepared for battle. The void entropy had made its move. Now, it was humanity's turn to show the true power of their Primarch legacy. The fate of the cosmos hung in the balance, and the final battle was about to begin. The Nexus of Eternity. The Horsehead Nebula loomed before the assembled fleet, its familiar shape now twisted and warped by the encroaching void. Entropy, where once there had been a celestial masterpiece of gas and dust, now writhed a maelstrom of unreality, shot through with veins of absolute nothingness. On the bridge of the Titan, Admiral Carter stood at the helm, his face illuminated by the eerie glow of tactical displays. Around him, representatives from a dozen species manned stations, their differences set aside in the face of cosmic annihilation. "All ships, report in," Carter commanded, his voice steady despite the weight of the moment. One by one, the captains of Earth's ancient fleet and their alien allies signaled their readiness. The comm channel crackled with a symphony of voices, human, alien, and everything in between. Sarah Chen, now serving as Carter's second-in-command, stepped up beside him. "James," she said softly, "whatever happens in there, it's been an honor." Carter nodded, allowing himself a moment of shared understanding before turning back to the task at hand. "All ships, advance. Whatever's waiting for us in that nebula, we face it together." As one, the fleet moved forward, plunging into the swirling chaos of the corrupted nebula. Almost immediately, their sensors went haywire, overwhelmed by the impossible physics of their surroundings. "Stay in visual range," Carter ordered. "Don't let the void separate us." No sooner had the words left his mouth than the attack began. From the swirling miasma emerged creatures of nightmare, vast, shapeless things that seemed to be made of living darkness. They fell upon the fleet with ravenous hunger, their very touch causing matter to disintegrate. The battle that followed defied description. Ships fired weapons that bent space itself, while void entities phased in and out of reality. Psionic adepts among the crew projected shields of pure thought, straining to hold back the tide of uncreation. In the heart of the chaos, the Titan pressed on, its ancient Primarch technology, allowing it to withstand assaults that would have annihilated lesser vessels. But even it had limits, and Carter knew they were rapidly approaching them. "We need to find the source," he growled, scanning the tactical displays for any sign of a weakness, a focal point to the void's power. As if in answer to his thoughts, a transmission cut through the noise of battle. Dr. Ilara Vance's face appeared on the main view screen, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and excitement. "Admiral," she shouted over the sound of alarms in the background. "We found it. The Nexus of Eternity. It's the anchor point for the void entropy in our reality." The view screen shifted, showing a massive structure floating in the heart of the nebula. It was like no technology they had ever seen, a vast fractal lattice that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions at once, pulsing with dark energy. "If we can destabilize it," Ilara continued, "we might be able to push the void entropy back and seal the breach between realities." Carter's mind raced, formulating a plan even as he barked orders to the fleet. "All ships, concentrate fire on that structure. Give it everything you've got." The combined firepower of 100 civilizations converged on the Nexus of Eternity. Energy beams, gravity weapons, and ordnance beyond human understanding slammed into the impossible construct. For a moment, it seemed to waver, cracks appearing in its multidimensional surface. But then, with a pulse of power that sent shockwaves through the nebula, the Nexus struck back. Tendrils of void energy lashed out, ensnaring ships and dragging them into oblivion. The very fabric of space-time began to unravel around them. "It's too strong," Sarah shouted over the din of failing systems. "We can't breach its defenses." Carter gripped the command console, his knuckles white. They had come too far, sacrificed too much, to fail now. But what more could they do against a force that negated existence itself? In that moment of desperation, a memory surfaced. Althea's words about the true power of the Primarchs lying in unity, in the collective consciousness of all life. An idea, wild and dangerous, formed in Carter's mind. "All ships," he commanded, his voice ringing with authority, "disengage your individual shields. Link your systems to the Titan. We're going to combine our power into one massive strike." There was a moment of hesitation, then acknowledgments began to pour in. Ship after ship, of every shape and origin, surrendered its autonomy to join in this final desperate gambit. As the connections were made, Carter felt something stir within him, a power beyond anything he had ever known. He sensed the minds of every being in the fleet, their hopes, fears, and determination flowing into him. "Now," he whispered, more to himself than anyone else, "let's show the void what life can really do." With a thought, Carter channeled the combined power of the fleet, not just their technology, but the very life force of every individual, into a single devastating beam. It lanced out from the Titan, a spear of pure creation to counter the void's unmaking. The nexus of eternity shuddered under the impact. For a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, the two forces, life and void, creation and destruction, hung in perfect balance. Then, with a silent explosion that rippled through dimensions, the nexus shattered. The void entropy, without its anchor, began to recede, reality reasserting itself in its wake. On the Titan's bridge, Carter slumped in his chair, drained but triumphant. Around him, his crew, human and alien alike, cheered, embraced, and wept with joy and relief. As the nebula began to clear, revealing the stars beyond, Carter shared a weary smile with Sarah. They had done it. Against all odds, life had prevailed. But even in this moment of victory, Carter knew their work was far from over. The galaxy, no, the universe, would need rebuilding. And humanity, with its reawakened Primarch legacy, would lead the way. The ancient fleet of Earth, battered but unbroken, turned towards home. A new chapter in cosmic history was about to begin. A new dawn. In the months following the battle at the Horsehead Nebula, the galaxy entered a period of profound transformation. The defeat of the void entropy had not only saved existence itself, but had also awakened latent abilities in countless beings across the cosmos. The legacy of the Primarchs, long dormant, was now blooming in species both human and alien. On Earth, the ravaged homeworld of humanity, a great reconstruction effort was underway. Cities that had been reduced to rubble during the Zarelian occupation were being rebuilt, their designs now incorporating the advanced technology unlocked from humanity's ancient past. Admiral James Carter stood atop a hill overlooking New Shanghai, watching as gravity-defying skyscrapers rose into the sky, their surfaces shimmering with energy fields that could withstand even the most extreme planetary conditions. It was a far cry from the burning wreckage he had last seen when leaving Earth to confront the Galactic Council. Sarah Chen approached, a datapad in her hand and a thoughtful expression on her face. "The latest reports from the Galactic Confederation," she said, handing the device to Carter. "The integration of former Zarelian worlds is proceeding faster than expected. It seems the shared experience of awakening is bridging gaps we once thought insurmountable." Carter nodded, scrolling through the information. The Galactic Confederation, a new governing body formed in the wake of the Council's fall, was a testament to the unity forged in the crucible of cosmic war. Races that had been bitter enemies now worked side by side, pooling their unique strengths and newfound Primarch abilities. "And what of the Zarelians themselves?" Carter asked, his tone carefully neutral. Sarah's expression softened. "Rehabilitation efforts continue. Many of the younger generations are eager to make amends, to find their place in this new galactic order. It's not easy, but progress is being made." Carter's mind flashed to Exurcath, the Zarelian leader whose actions had set this all in motion. The alien was now in custody, awaiting trial for crimes against sentient life. But even Exurcath had shown signs of change. the awakening of Primarch abilities forcing a revaluation of long-held beliefs. "Sir," Sarah continued, hesitation in her voice. "There's something else. The deep space probes we sent to Andromeda. They've made contact." Carter's eyes widened. In the chaos of reconstruction, he had almost forgotten about the intergalactic expedition launched in the wake of their victory. "Althea?" he asked. Sarah nodded. "She sends her congratulations and an invitation. It seems our destiny lies beyond the confines of a single galaxy." As if on cue, a shimmering portal opened in the air before them. Through it, they could see a vista of impossible beauty. The swirling arms of the Andromeda galaxy, teeming with life and possibility. Althea's voice echoed from the portal, filled with warmth and pride. "Children of Earth, inheritors of the Primarch legacy, you have proven yourselves worthy. The time has come for you to take your place among the guardians of the cosmos." Carter and Sarah exchanged a look, years of shared struggle and triumph passing between them in an instant. Without a word, they stepped forward, hand in hand, into the portal. As they emerged on the other side, they found themselves standing on a platform suspended in space, overlooking a vast cosmic tapestry. Beams of light and energy moved around them, their forms defying mortal comprehension. Althea materialized before them, her ageless eyes twinkling with joy. "Welcome," she said, "to the next chapter of your journey." Carter looked out at the infinite expanse before him, feeling both humbled and exhilarated. They had come so far, from a species confined to a single world to the inheritors of a cosmic legacy. The challenges ahead were immense, but for the first time in eons, the universe faced them united. "We're ready," Carter said, his voice firm with resolve. As if in response, a wave of energy pulsed through the cosmic platform. Carter and Sarah felt their consciousness expand, connecting them to the vast network of life spread across galaxies. In that moment, they understood the true scope of their responsibility and the limitless potential that lay before them. The ancient fleet of Earth, once hidden and dormant, now sailed the cosmic seas as guardians of life itself. Humanity, along with its myriad allies, had transcended its origins to become something greater, custodians of existence, protectors of the grand tapestry of reality. And somewhere, in the infinite possibilities of the multiverse, a young boy named Tommy Chen smiled, knowing that his sacrifice had not been in vain. The galaxy, no, the cosmos, would remember, and it would thrive. As the light of a billion suns washed over them, Carter and Sarah took their first steps into a future bright with promise and alive with wonder. The next great adventure was just beginning.